everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager with the Phoenix Knights Racing Team. Here we are, Race 3, China, more specifically Beijing, where we hope to continue our decent form and continue to pick up points, which will stand us in good stead for the rest of the season. Now, before we dive into the session proper, I believe it was yesterday, there was a new patch released for the game, a new update that gave a load of tweaks and overhauls to user interface and things, but there was also some gameplay style changes as well. And as we go through the session, I'll try and point out what they are. But I think it's caused some issues with existing game saves, this latest patch. If we look to our chassis, you can see that we have 0 stars. Now, whether or not this literally means we have an absolutely rubbish chassis, or whether it's just not displaying the stars but it's remembered how good our chassis was, remains to be seen. We don't seem to be at a distinct disadvantage because every other team has no stars either. So, I don't know. On the other hand, our suspension was our best part, but it was round about down here, the graph. Round about down there. All of a sudden, it shot right up to there. Suddenly, we have the 3rd best suspension on the grid. Don't know how it happened. Has Brian Potter worked some miracle, smuggled in some suspensions that we were unaware of? Something's happened. So we'll take it, but we didn't have as good a suspension as this. We haven't developed a suspension at all this season, so this has to be something to do with the update. But we'll take it. We'll take it. It hasn't really improved the performance of our car very much because we've still got the 9th best car on the grid, so nothing much to harp on about. So that's that. As we quickly go to the preferences, we can also have a look at some of the changes here. The first one is not a change that was brought about by this patch, but we can actually auto-optimize our outlap temperatures from the very off without having to manually do it every time. Didn't realise that. This is a new feature though. Race strategy difficulty. Now what this does is it makes it more realistic for the teams, the AI teams, when they come to their strategic decisions. So changing tyres in variable weather conditions, reacting to their parts becoming degraded, all these kind of things where in the past we've seen the computer make some really silly strategic choices, much to our benefit. This I think kind of eliminates that, maybe not completely, but makes it less likely to happen. So it makes it more difficult in terms of trying to get one up on the AI in variable conditions. So we're going to turn that on. The tooltip does say that AI teams will make fewer mistakes with their pit strategies, making the game more difficult. So I suppose that's a good thing. So we're going to turn that on as well and see what that does. All right. So what else? As I say, a load of things have been implemented in the actual in the patch, and we'll go through those as and when they crop up. And of course, if you guys are playing this game and you know some changes that I might not have mentioned, and you think that I could benefit from, please feel free to leave your tips and advice. Because this is by no means I'm no means an expert at this in terms of what the patch has done. I've had one quick race off camera to see some of the interface stuff, and then I've dived straight into this. So I don't quite know how they're going to work out some of the changes. Right then, back to normality then, and we'll start, I suppose, we'll start with Meet the Team very quickly. Very quick Meet the Team. We looked at Thornton, we looked at Bellon, now we look to Van Dort. Van Dort Racing, here we go, white car with some very nice trim on it actually. Predicted to be the 7th best car on the grid. They have the 2nd best drivers, very good for them. Their car, of course, is the 7th best. Headquarters is down there, not much better than ours, down in 8th. Their staff, roughly similar to ours, and their sponsors down in 7th. So they're a very similar team to us, really, in terms of their staff are similar to ours, their headquarters are similar, their cars similar, their drivers are a little bit better, but quite a similar team to us. And their drivers, look at this guy, Wolfgang Schmidt, 32, and he looks pretty spiffing marvellous. Pretty spiffing marvellous. 4.5 star. Their second driver is also not too shabby. Only on 640,000 a race. Not bad for these stats. Just creeping into the 5-star realm. Modi is the reserve driver. He looks to be below average, but he's for the division. And then let's have a look at their staff. Anybody that we could pilfer? I mean, he looks not too bad. Hawkins. What's his components? Adds a random great component. That's quite nifty. Plus 2%. Risk level -1. Okay, not excellent, but not too bad. This guy. Yeah, that works. That works. Valentin Fisk. And then you've got High Stand as well. So they've got a couple of really good race mechanics. Marketability down at 50%. All in all, not a bad team. Not a bad team. Quite a decent all-round. If their car was a little bit better, they'd be pushing up in the top 4 or 5, certainly. Right. We move to the mail, because something has happened. Surikov, we could well have another Valdez on our hand. When I say that, I mean somebody who just can't help but get themselves into the news, sometimes for the wrong reasons, because he's been caught embezzling. Dubious property schemes around Trinidad and Tobago. If he shows his face around here, by God, we'll put him behind bars. And he's not answering any questions on the matter, and would not be visiting the Caribbean anytime soon. -50 marketability for 20 weeks. Very good, Nikolai. Keep it up. Bringing disrepute to the team. I love it. I bet Valdez is laughing. Right. So let's have a look at the car then. Get the car ready for the next race. Engine, gearbox and brakes are the parts that we should be working on, and I've already done some tweaking off camera. Gearbox and rear wing, that makes no sense. Gearbox and brakes for Sirikov's vehicle. His engine is at 40%, but we are going to be getting a new engine in a 4 days time, so it makes no sense to increase the reliability of this because we're going to be swapping them out very shortly. Sundin, working on the engine, which is down at 40%. It's the new engine that we've just fit, which is why it's so low. And the gearbox. We'll switch to the brakes closer to the race. Her rear wing is pretty shot to bits. But reliability is going to be an issue. Until we increase our slots here by increasing our factory, we're going to struggle to keep pace with actually making our car reliable. It's getting rather tempting. It's 15 million to upgrade it. It'll put us down to 23 million. We'll hold off for now. As long as it's ready for the start of next season, which it takes 30 weeks. Quite a long time, actually. Not quite a year. So we want to be building it round about July, August time. So we'll see how much money we've got at that point. All right. So let's meet the team done. We've done the quick overview of the new changes and how they've affected things. We've got the car working in terms of reliability. Might as well press on, I think. Just make sure it's actually on reliability. Yeah. Don't know if they've fixed that little issue. So the engine has been built, which means we better throw it in very swiftly. Let's fit these parts. Here we go. So a new engine, of course, for Sundin, and Surikov gets the second best engine. There we go. And that puts us with 2 new engines. we can't... Oops, a daisy. We can't get the next engine component until we actually upgrade the building, so we're going to hold off any further development of the engine for now and work on the next part, which is going to be... Well, it's not the suspension. The suspension is looking pretty marvellous at the moment. I think gearbox is the next component that makes a big difference to your car. Engine and gearbox are probably the two most important components. They're the ones that crop up the most as crucial parts throughout the season. So it makes sense to actually upgrade these as a priority. So plus 25 to max is 1089,114, 1109, 1109. So that gives you instant performance. I'm sure they've actually tweaked how these work as well, you know, I really do. Could be wrong. But when you used to do that, it never used to max it out straight away, and this maxes out the performance straight away. It never used to do that. It used to always have a little bit extra in hand. So I think that's actually affected as well from the patch. Right, so acceleration plus 20 gives us instant unlock, instant performance. No need to max it out, and that's what we need for the development race. The parts that we develop towards the back end of the season will be the parts that we focus on in terms of maxing out as much performance as possible with illegal parts. So that'll do. That will be ready one day before the race, but it won't be in a usable condition, of course, but we'll have it available to us. So we'll get that on the go. And in the meantime, we need to quickly switch them over. So engine and gearbox, and it was brakes. So we'll go for about another 3 days on the gearbox, and then we'll switch that to the brakes. We'll keep the engine going throughout the entire 13 days. I'm concerned for the rear wing this race, but what can we do? Can't fix everything, you know? Can't fix everything. So there's no sign of our friend Valdez. Hasn't been snapped up yet, as far as I can see. He's sitting on the Asia Pacific Cup. Let's have a look here. No sign of him here either. Perhaps we've broken him. Maybe he's just gone off to be a pop star. Crying shame. Wasted talent. Of course, not suitable for this league. Not this. Right, here we go. Oh, we might have left that a little bit too long, but hey ho. Look at the suspension. It's now the best on the grid. Something is going on here. The suspension is increasing in performance, and we're not doing anything to it. This is not good, is it? Really? It says that, but it's not actually. If our suspension increased that much, from where it was around about there to become the best on the grid, our overall performance, you would think, would have improved from 9th on the grid, maybe to about 8th or 7th. So I just think it's a glitch in relation to how it's displayed. I don't think it's representative of actually having the best suspension. I mean, our suspension it is down as purple though, which means best in the division. I'm struggling to believe that somehow. Struggling to believe that. I sincerely hope that the new patch hasn't broken existing game saves, because that would be an absolute catastrophe. I've really enjoyed this. We'll continue on. So 70% for the gearbox is pretty nifty. We'll go now with the brakes. Engine will continue to be improved until race weekend. And we'll just have to hope that we can make the rear wing last for the entire race. I don't think we will as low as they are, but do you know what? I think we could actually forget the brakes. Just forget those. I think they should be okay at 60%-ish. As long as we don't push too much. That rear wing is just a little bit concerning. Gearbox finished. Right, let's build another one then very quickly. Gearbox. We'll go for that, and then we shall go for... We can either go 40 to max, which gives it 109, 1149, or 1129. 1144. That seems to be a good compromise between instant performance and a little bit of extra boost at the end. So that's going to take 14 days after the race. Marvellous. Let's get it built. We're not going to fit that. It was not in a fit state really to be used. We'll fit that before the next race. And that's going to Surikov, I believe. Sundin got the best engine, so Surikov will get the best gearbox. That is correct. It's getting up there a little bit now, isn't it? Alright, here we are, race weekend. Let's take one last look at the vehicle. So we've got the engine, so we've got 58, 61, 58, 63. Ooh, they're going to be a little bit close to the bone. 52 and 50 down there. Our gearbox is looking not too bad. The ones that we're going to be using at least, they're up to 70. So the car's coming along. And it's important that we get the reliability as high as possible, as quick as possible. And I'll show you why in a very brief moment. So let's get cracking then. Race weekend. As I did say, when it's looking like a pretty dull qualifying, which this does look like a pretty dull qualifying, it's predicted to be sunny all the way through. We're going to use the auto qualifying feature. 7th or above seems reasonable. $951 works for me, but 1041 works even better. Right, okay, so there we go. We've got the sponsor selected, the tyres have been chosen, the weather is as it is. It's a 26 lap race. Get my leg sorted out. Let's go and dive on in. I'll see you... Actually, no, do you know what? We're going to go to practice for a very brief moment. We're going to go to practice for a very brief moment. Okay, so let's get the car set up, sorted very briefly. You don't have to really focus on this because I'm not going to be doing the whole practice session on camera. Just going to show you something that's been added to the game via the new patch. As I just set these buggers up, bear with me. This is my usual strategy for actually setting the car up. Putting all of the settings to the extreme edge of the green bars, which means that they can only ever go one way. It makes it easier to reach the sweet spot. You only have to worry about the degrees of how far to go rather than which direction to go, because it can only go in one direction to improve. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. So this is why I wanted to show you the practice session, because we have a new feature that's been added as a result of the latest patch, and it's called weight stripping. And what that actually does is it allows you to sacrifice a portion of your reliability to increase the performance of a part. So for instance here, our reliability on our front wing is 59%. If we want to take a hit on that to get an extra 15 performance points on your front wing, you can do so. So you can actually, if you've got a really reliable car, use some of that reliability as a trade-off for extra performance. Now you can do this before practice, you can do this before qualifying, you can do this before the race. Of course, your reliability isn't affected in practice or qualifying, so I'm assuming, I don't know for certain, but I'm assuming that if you do this, you're kind of stuck with it going forward. So, and that will be your race reliability. So the best thing to do in terms of strategy, I think, is actually do it on parts that aren't crucial, because the crucial parts wear fastest anyway. So on non-crucial parts that have high reliability, you can do that little bit of a trade-off to get a slight edge. But we haven't got the reliability to do that just yet. But when we get up above 85%, we'll start using this feature to see how it boosts us up in the race weekend. If you've used this feature, let me know how it works. And let me know how well it works. Is it worth doing? Have you seen a noticeable performance increase? I'd be interested to find out. Right, so that's what I want to show you. So see you for qualifying. Okay, so practice has been completed. Not a bad session. Panther Race Team, you're lame. You're lame, man. So chuffed for Phoenix Knights. Hey, thank you. Okay, we've got a bit of cloud for qualifying. We've got a bit of cloud with a bit of sun peeking through. Just going to double check the weather report. No, highly unlikely to be rain here. So what we'll do is we will give them soft tyre with qualifying trim. Car setups have been done. A nice little feature they've added for the car setups is you can actually save your setups and also, of course, load your setups. So that is very handy indeed. Saves a lot of messing around. Now I do believe every driver has slightly different requirements from their setup, but roughly they're going to be the same. And as you develop your car and change your car, I think it also changes as well. But it puts you in the right ballpark at least. So that's very handy. Anyway, we're going to dive right in to qualifying. For the first time, we're going to try out the simulation version. Now, we qualified, if I remember rightly, we qualified around about sort of 11th and 15th in the past couple of races. So we'll see how we work out today. If we're around about the same position... Ooh, this is not good. Okay, this could have been a mistake. I've never tried this before. You would have thought I would have tried it off camera first to see if it actually worked out for us. Sundin is qualifying in 19th apparently. Okay. Suffice to say, this was a tragedy. Okay. Oh, she got another lap eventually. 15th and 16th. I don't think that I'm quite so happy with that. I might just change my mind and qualify as I have been doing in the past, doing it myself, because I know Surikov got 15th the past couple of times, but Sundin got up to 11th. She was only a 10th off the time, which makes me think if we'd have been doing it ourselves and putting ourselves in a gap, we might have been able to get better than that. I'm a little bit disappointed, it has to be said. You live and learn, I suppose. We won't be doing that again. 15th and 16th. It's going to be a long day in the office, I feel. Somebody just bought a shirt with Sundin's name on it. Sunday, race day, looking dry as a bone. Temperature is quite cool though. Soft tyres and race trim. Is the order of business. Setups are done. Strategy wise, I think we can afford to start to push a little bit now. I think we're going to have to do, given how far back on the grid we are. can't use the weight stripping, we don't have enough reliability, so we'll just dive straight on in. Okay, so we've got Becker Steinman first, we've got Wexler Rossini in second, Holtz and Steinman in third, and Veracruz Rossini in fourth. Then we have the Panther Race team, Harry Chapman, who I think is actually Lewis Hamilton, in fifth, and Johan Sylvander in sixth. And then you've got the Kitano and the Windsor teams, who roughly qualify in the top 10. And then you've got the best of the rest, which has been us so far. And we've got to make sure that we fix this in the next race. Okay, just going to quickly, briefly pause it before we crack on with the race. There have been a few changes to the display and stuff, and to some of the features. I think there's been a change to how the drivers react to interchangeable weather conditions when it's damp and you're putting the slicks on. That's judged by their adaptability skill. It's not a variable race, so we're not going to see that. But we've got a few little extra icons up here. This is the usual one that we check to see if the cars are pushing or not. This actually gives us a live Drivers' Championship standings and constructors as well, which would be very good closing races of the season. And then you can look at the tyre history of your rivals if you wish to do so. The actual temperature gauge for your tyres is now split into quarters. It was previously split into thirds. If you go into the hot zone there, your tyres blister and wear faster. Similarly, if you go down here, the tyres grain and you lose a massive amount of performance. So you've got to keep it in the two middle quadrants, the two middle quarters, to keep your performance as good as it can get. Other than that, I think that's probably it. And one more thing before we go off. As you go into the first corner, expect to see a few more drivers going wide. As we will follow Surikov. And we are off and racing. And I think Sunday's got the better start, so we'll go and switch to her. Let's have a look at the first corner. Any drivers going wide? Got a few lock brakes, and there you go. One's gone off already. So they've implemented sort of some coding there to make some drivers overcook the first corner. And apparently crashes happen more evenly spread out through the race. And there's a little icon down here which gives you driver modifiers. So there's a few tweaks and changes here and there. As Surikov has made his way up into 10th position. Not bad going. So did I completely forget to change my strategy in terms of tyres and in terms of fuel levels? I think I did. How on earth did I forget to do that? So I've heavy fueled these guys for 10 laps in a 26 lap race. We're going to have to pit twice anyway, so it's not a massive catastrophe, but we are carrying more fuel than we needed to, which is a bit of a shame. Never mind. So we're bordering on the points positions, and we're now going to turn down the engine mode, turn down the pushing of the tyres, although the temperatures of these tyres are beginning to go into the lower zone there, as you can see. But everybody else is doing roughly the same as we are, so they're going to suffer the same fate. Surikov is in 10th position, last points paying position. Sundin, got the locking of tyres back there. This is a much more regular occurrence now. Don't want to be on the receiving end of a shunt. It's going to be an interesting race. The drivers around us are going to suffer less with mechanical issues because it's the third race of the season. They're starting to iron those out, so we're not expecting to see many drivers retiring like we have in the past. So don't expect us to be making up a load of places like we have in the past. And don't forget, of course, we've got the realistic and slightly more difficult driver AI strategy, so we're not going to have as much an advantage there either. So this is going to be a little bit tougher for us to start making headway into the higher positions. But we'll do our best. It's all we can do, really. As Surikov is getting harassed from 11th place. It's De Graaf He's going up the inside, and is he going to make it stick? Because Surikov is not giving up without a fight, and he has to give the position up. He has to give it up. We are heavily fueled, rather unfortunately, due to a strategic blunder by Potter. It's his first one of the season, so we'll let him off. Sunday now beginning to make inroads as 11th and 12th. We are still quietly confident that we can pick up some points today. Tyre temps beginning to just be a little bit too low. Turn up the pushing of the tyres. The only reason why we're not pushing it too high is because we don't want to put strain on the parts. It is a long race, a long way to go, and some of these parts aren't looking quite so sure of themselves just yet. 21 laps to go. Surikov in 11th. We've got Sundin in 12th. We are in prime position to pounce on any mistakes up ahead of us. And as soon as some of the other cars start to turn down their engine modes to conserve, we might start to gain. They're not massively far away from us. As long as we can consistently pick up points, whether we finish like 8th and 10th. Holy flipping cow, what happened to our tyres? Absolutely, I didn't even realise. This has been a catastrophic race, I have to say. Catastrophic with a capital strophe. Right, medium tyres required. We're churning through these tyres absolutely far too much. 10 laps. It's going to have to be a long stint. Otherwise we're going to be 3-stopping here. This is very bad. Surikov, he's got better tyre degradation. Sunday's going to suffer. Her tyres are... bloody hell. I'm half asleep today. What am I doing? Too busy trying to tell you about all the changes, and I'm not really been focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing, which is managing the race. Right, Surikov is going to have to come in next time. He's going to slightly go into the red on his tyres. Please tell me she's in the pits. Yeah, she's in the pits, fine. We'll pit Surikov this lap. He can last 8 to 10 laps. Oh, it's going to be a push. We'll do one medium stint. One medium stint. Fuel him up. Park condition, fine. He's up into 9th. Sunderland's pit stop went well. No mistakes at least. She comes out. She's going to have to make these tyres last for at least 10, well 9 laps minimum. 10 preferably. So she's just on a cruising middle stint on the harder compound tyre. It's the only way we're going to make it with 2 stops. She's in 19th position. It's going to be, as I thought, it's going to be a long day in the office. I did say it was going to be a long day, and it's proving to be the case. Becker using the hard tyre, which actually isn't so foolish. Tyre wear seems to be quite a problem on this circuit. And we're out of the pit stop with Surikov. It's a decent stop. Here comes Sundin. Surikov coming out of the pits, coming out of the pits, coming out of the pits in 17th position. Where does Sundin feed in? She's actually right behind him. So despite the fact that she was on run-down tyres for longer, she didn't do too bad. So we just have to wait now until the other cars come in for their stops to see where we factor into the equation. But this is going to be a very long and steady middle stint as we stretch these tyres to last. A lot of people using the harder compound, which is definitely a viable option given the amount of tyre wear we're seeing here. The soft tyres are certainly not a tyre to be used in the race. Of course, we didn't do the tyre management or the fuel management, so we didn't see how many laps they could do to plan our strategy. So we're kind of on ad hoc here, on the hoof, trying to sort our strategies mid-race, which is not ideal. I've got a feeling we're not going to get any points today. Call me pessimistic. Well, it's looking bad. It's not looking good. I've got to hope that some cars fail. Got to hope for some rain, but it's not like it's looking now and impossible for that to happen. So there you go, you can see an icon here, which means that this person is fixing a part, as well as doing their normal pit stop. So we should just go cruising on by, up into 14th place for Sirikov. Sundin follows him through into 15th. Got a couple of people that need to pit. We've got Gonzalez and we've got Ribeiro, so that'll move us up. So it all is not completely lost. Holtz is on a soft tyre. If she puts the hard tyre on for the final stint, she should be okay. 63% for Sundin. Is she going to make it to lap 17? It's going to be touch and go. The tyre degradation is beginning to just get towards the graining stage. I think we can afford to push with Sirikov. He's got much more tyre life. We'll push for a lap with Sundin just to get some heat into the tyres. Gonzalez is fixing a part. We move up to 12th and 13th. We have all kinds of smoke there. What's that all about? It's going to be tough to get points, but it's not going to be impossible. Although D'Osta behind is catching. Just trying to get some life into these tyres. 50%. Yeah. If it comes to the worst of it, we can try and stick on the harder compound tyre for the final stint. We've done no practicing on it, but it'll get us over the line. Right, we're going to turn it back down again now. Turn down the Sirikov's as well. Not really making inroads on 11th place. We've got Lipponen. They're on the harder compound, the slower tyre, but we're not really gaining here. Pace is not bad. So 3.8 seconds behind Lipponen. 3.94. Lipponen's pulling away slightly. As we reach the halfway stage of the race, let's check on the car conditions. I think the brakes are looking a little bit worse for wear, but given we're halfway through and it's just about halfway through that, I think we should be okay if we maintain our current settings. Likewise here, I think it's going to be this. I think we should get to the end. I think we should get to the end with these parts. Holtz is coming in for another set of softs. They will not get to the end, from what I've seen. Is that a mistake? I mean, Holtz is in a Mercedes equivalent, Steinman, so I don't think it's going to really matter. Somebody's pitting for parts, part repair, as well as the regular pit stop, of course. Moves us up into 11th and 12th position. We're just eking ever closer to the points. The rear wing is all of a sudden dropped suddenly to 29% for Sundin. That may need to be fixed. That may need to be fixed. 32% on the brakes are suddenly dropped as well. That may need to be fixed. And the tyre wear, I've completely and utterly lost the tyre wear again. I think, you know, this tyre wear goes down far quicker than it used to do as soon as you go into the lower zones. Either that or I'm just half asleep today. I'm going to have to watch this video back and check, but I'm sure the tyre wear has just suddenly dropped very quickly here. Right. 8 to 10 laps. Or do we go 10 to 12 with the hard tyre? I think we're going to have to go 8 to 10. It's really, really... She's struggling to get round. I'm still going to have to fix that as well. Sirikov, on the other hand, he's going into the graining zone, but he at least has some tyre wear and some tyre life to play with. Sundin coming round, at least she's close to the damn pits. I think Sirikov needs to do one more lap after this, ideally, but is he going to be able to do it? Tyre wear's looking a little bit grim. So 12th place is pitting for their final stop. Surikov. Do we pit? This is a question. Do we pit now? I think we can pit now. There's. I think. Well, yeah. I think we can pit now. Certainly with Surikov. He can make another set of mediums last. It'll have to be mediums as well. Parts. It's close. It's very close. It's very close. I'm quite confident that the other. It's this part here that I'm worried about. You know what, bugger it, we're going to risk it. We're struggling for points here. I'm going to take a risk. So we're in the pits. And we're out of the pits. Surikov in 12th. He's bordering on points, so it's not all lost for Surikov. Oh gosh, oh my gosh, holy moly. There's a traffic jam here. 10 laps to go, and we have a traffic jam ahead of us. Sundin just slipping away from Surikov. Must be said, it's probably not entirely her fault. She's actually now been waved with blue flags to get out of the flipping way. She's slowing cars down, which is rather disconcerting and demoralising. The APC champion being lapped. But it's one less lap that we have to do, actually. We'll only have to do 25 laps, which could be good for our part condition situation. Right, Surikov, here we go. He's held up by a load of traffic ahead of him. 17th position. He's talking about problems with something. Brakes. You don't need brakes. These two having a bit of a set to, some locking of tyres. Unfortunately, they didn't take each other out, which would have been nice for us. We're right on the back of this. Some of these guys are pitting, some of them won't be, so we could really do with getting past as we're lapped by Becker. 18th place is coming up behind us as we're held up by Gonzalez. Would you care to get out of the way? Causing a scene here. Right. We'll try and keep her tyre out of the cold zone and see what that does, but she's already at 74% and there's still a fair way to go. Surikov's up to 14th position here. Is a points place position in the bag? I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I'm kind of wanting to turn his engine mode up a bit, but that's going to adversely affect our condition degradation. Sundin at 67% tyre life. Somebody's got an issue behind us in 16th. So we've got up to 14th position now. Gonzalez is going to have to pit. Lipponen is going to be touch and go. And other than that, I think we're going to finish around about 12th, 11th here. In which case, we're going to just turn it engine. Oh, he's smoking. We've got Smoky Joe here. Smoky Joe. Yeah, we're not seeing any flashing red warning lights just yet. Well, we'll be right. We'll be right. We've got a retirement. Sharp is out of the race. Zoe Sharp has retired. Sundin's brakes are at 15%, and there's still a little while to go in this race. That was a crucial part. We should have maybe fixed that. But she's so far back. I mean, does it... What can you do? Gonzalez is coming for a pit stop to fix something. 12th place to Oster. His tyres are hard. Lipponen's going to pit, I would have thought. Let's turn him down. The brakes aren't going to last. There's no way on this earth the brakes are going to last. Sylvander's pitting. It's a regular pit stop, unfortunately. Yeah, Surikov comes round again, 53% tyre life. Lippinen's in the pits now, so we've passed Lippinen. De Oster, is he going to be able to last to the end on those tyres? It's going to be close. What's he on? 35%. He's pitting again. De Oster is pitting again. Schmidt probably doesn't have to pit, that has to be said. He's got 56. He's got the same. He's got better tyre life than we have, actually. So we're going to be in 11th. Piaget's in the pit. De Oster's in the pit. We're into 10th. Oh, just ignore the warning lights. Ignore them, it's fine. Everything is under control. There's no need to panic. I know what I'm doing. We're being lapped again. Are we lapped again, or is this? No, we're just lapped once, aren't we? Surely. Can't be lapping us twice. Sunder's retired. Her gearbox, her brakes, something. Yeah, her brakes have given up the ghost. She wasn't going to get any points today. Neither are we, by the looks of it. Oh God. 20%, 19%. Look at the car. It is absolutely knackered. Is the technical term. And they are hounding us. We have the last point scoring position, but we are being hounded and we are being passed. Our car is looking broken. This has been a lesson. The first two races went smoothly. This one not so smoothly. $19, $20. They should last. They should last. We were there for a brief moment. We were there in a point scoring position, and it was snatched away from us. Snatched away it was. Blue flags waving. Here comes Chapman. So I think there will be one more lap to go for us after this. We've got 23% tyre life, so our tyres are shot. Yeah, all in all, I think this has been a bit of an eye-opening experience. Perhaps this new patch has brought some subtle changes that I haven't anticipated. Either that or I'm extremely rusty. But it seemed to me like the tyre wear was dropping a lot quicker than it used to do when you used to have the cold tyres. Possibly. Have to check that. So this is the last lap now for Surikov. He's been lapped, so this is his last lap. His car, is it going to survive? I think it will. The brakes are looking very, very close to destruction. His tyres are on rims. But he's somehow clinging on to 12th position as he comes around the last bend and crosses the line. It's 12th position for Surikov. Not a bad result, he says, and I have to kind of semi-agree. Not a bad result, but if we'd have played our cards right from the start, actually remembered to change the right tyres and actually alter the fuel loads in the car setup screen, it might have been a decent start. If we'd actually qualified ourselves rather than auto-qualifying, that might have also given us an extra boost. So all in all, lots of blunders. Lots of blunders. Is it just me or has he got a black eye? Oh man, talk about a frustrating race. Absolutely frustrating as hell. soon as the auto qualifying finished, I thought, I said it's gonna be a long day. Yeah, 12 and retired. So is it first time we've actually had retirement rather than a crash for a non-finish? It's all right. The constructors are still looking not bad. We're in 4th position, 43 points. The lower team's not getting any, which is the main thing. So onwards and upwards is all that can be said. $393,000 lost. Not bad, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. Not bad. Right, okay, so, yes indeed, another race is done, and this one was nowhere near as good as the other two. So, lessons that we have learned. Interview? No thanks. Never simulate your qualifying. What else have we learned? Keep an eye on the tyre wear situation, certainly. And remember, not the 5th of November, but remember to put the right tyres on at the start of the race and sort your fuel out. So join me next time to see if I can sort that out. And if you have any tips or hints in relation to this new patch, and am I reading it right? Is something changed with in relation to tyre wear, stuff like that? Just let me know, because I have read the patch notes, but you know what they're like sometimes. You just, until you've actually played the game and made sense of it, you just don't really understand the full consequences, do you? But anyway, join me next time. See you soon.